I'll show you kind of what we got going on in the bottom end of this thing. We have a girdle on this thing. This thing was made by J&S. They specialize in Oldsmobile parts. This is their full girdle that ties it in with the pan rails. To install this, you need to have the main caps milled down so everything fits, and then you have a press fit on this setup. There's no gaskets between this and the block, so what I use is an anaerobic sealant to seal everything in there to keep it from having any oil leaks. So then after this, you need to modify your oil pan for clearance of this setup. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it has a small step in there where your oil pan does not fit flush right here. So that's something that needs to be modified. I'm going to be working on building a custom pan for this thing and modifying it slightly. I may be putting some trap doors in there and some other stuff while I'm there. This is going to be an ongoing project as well, one of the several on this engine build. It's also a fuel injected engine, so we will be putting Holley EFI Terminator X Max on this particular engine and running a 4L80E transmission. So stick around, there's going to be lots and lots of cool stuff to come with this setup. As things progress, we'll talk about it a little bit more in detail, and we will be talking about more things to come with this particular engine. So for starters, we're going to go ahead and we're going to test fit the front cover and then the oil pan. So this is the front cover I'm looking at running. Still needs to be kind of cleaned up and stuff. I just want to see where we're at. Then here's the oil pan. This thing needs to be modified yet, but I just want to see where we're at. Does look like it fits pretty decent. It just needs a little bit of love here and there, looks like. It's like we're gonna have to modify right there to fit the girdle, and that'll get it down where it kind of belongs. The sump, I think I want to take it down some, and then I can build kind of like a trap door system down inside of here to kind of keep control of the oil, keep it down around the pump and away from the crankshaft. That's just a few things to notice up front. The other thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to modify the pan rail slightly, just so we can see, modify this where the oil dipstick tube comes through. So this needs to be modified slightly, and there needs to be a little outreach there to kind of cover up that gap. So that's going to have to be modified as well. So I'll have to build a little tab off the pan rail for that. Other than that, it looks like it fits okay. Just needs to be kind of dressed up and cleaned up a little bit, I think. We should be good after that. So I think the next thing I need to do is I need to put on the oil pump. That way we can kind of get height, so I know roughly how high I need to make this thing when I modify the sump in the pan. So with these, this is a high torque oil pump drive. You need to make sure you have this piece on there so it doesn't ever pull through, because when you take out your distributor, sometimes you can take your oil pump drive out. I think what I'll do now is I'll just take off this little edge where we have the clearance issue. And it's not much. We're talking like a 1/16 of an inch here off this edge here, right here. I'm just gonna have to take off that little bit there, just so it sits down next to that girdle. So we're gonna get into modifying this oil pump just a little bit. Looks like that's gonna fit just perfect. You can, whatever you put in there, you can run it into the bearing and create an improper tolerance there. So that is something that you gotta pay attention to. Get at least 4 threads of engagement in there. We'll start with 20 and we'll work up from there. Here's 30. Just to double check, figure out what the actual torque is on a 3/8 bolt. I don't know it off the top of my head. I think it's around 30 foot-pounds. It looks like we could go a little bit tighter to around 39 foot-pounds. And we'll go just a touch more. And we'll call it quits right there. Like I said, we got red Loctite in there to keep this thing from backing off, and it should be good to go. We'll double check and make sure it has clearance from the crankshaft. We'll give this thing a spin, make sure the counterweight clears it. It's tight, but it clears it. It's got about an 1/8 of an inch of clearance, which, I mean, honestly, in engine specs, I'm good with that. Should be good elsewhere as well. Looks like we got everything where it needs to go. That's good. I think we're all right on that one.